Hello, Ducks fans. Welcome to another episode of the Quack Report, your Monday edition, where we will talk about everything that has happened over the weekend. And I guess at the end of last week as well, since our last episode on Wednesday evening, which shout out to everybody that joined us for the watch along. That was a ton of fun. So thank you. Oh, no, not my keyboard. No, I forgot to test it.
Dang it, man. What are you doing?
Round of applause.
What are you doing? Yeah, round of applause. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a ton of fun. Especially with how the game ended, with the exciting comeback and overtime. That was a blast. Shout out to everybody who joined us afterwards for the post-game discussion on our YouTube channel. That was just as much fun. We got some good conversation going there. So thank you, everybody, very, very much.
Yeah, I was saying when we had hopped off that, YouTube takes a moment to kind of like tally up how many actual views from a watch along happened.
Yeah.
Looks like we got about a final tally here of just under 700 people tuning in for us.
Oh, nice.
Us, so
That's
for that
decent.
watch along. So yeah, thank you very much to everybody for doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So yeah, and then it was a great way to start off the season as well. But the next game was not quite as exciting. I don't think. Well, it depends on who you cheer for, I guess.
Fan, yeah. If you're an Islanders fan.
Yeah, that's for sure. So we've got some thoughts on that, but I mean, it's early in the season, so we'll try and not be too pessimistic because everybody's got some growing pains and stuff. But yeah, we'll have that. We'll have some discussion there. We got quite a bit of news actually, signings and just other stuff going on with the Ducks, and a couple upcoming games to get to. So pretty exciting episode, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited to do it.
Yeah. Before we get into it, though, just want to remind you guys that if you're like, what watch along, what post-game discussion, where can I find this? All on our YouTube channel, which is The Quack Report on YouTube. And to get updates on when we're going to be doing that stuff, at Quack Report Pod on Twitter is where you can follow us to get stuff there. We're also on Instagram, same thing, at Quack Report Pod, and Twitch for our live streams. So if you're not a YouTube fan, you're more of a Twitch guy or girl or whatever for your live stream stuff, we're on there too. Same thing, at Quack Report Pod for all that stuff. And Wednesday evenings, 7 p.m. Pacific is when we do that. And then it'll be a little bit later when we do, if there's like a game on Wednesday nights for any post-game discussion there. So,
yeah.
Oh yes. And then feedback form. We've got some great feedback already that's very valuable to us. So we want to improve going into season 4. So if you have any feedback, whether you're a new listener, brand new to TQR, brand new to hockey, we still want to know what you guys want from the Quack Report here. And if you're a longtime listener, longtime hockey fan too, same thing. We value that feedback just as much. So the link is down in the description for that. And then we also have a link for our merch store. So if you're going to a game anytime soon, but don't have a jersey and just want a cool t-shirt, we got tons of great merch, hats, t-shirts, stickers,
and
whatever.
There will be new merch dropping soon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to have it out within this next week here. So keep an eye out for that.
Cool. Very cool stuff. Yeah. So I think that's all of the housekeeping stuff that I want to bother you guys with. Let me see if I can do my keyboard manually here. Cool.
There we go.
Yeah.
Also, if you're gonna put in the feedback forms of like you want like in-person reporting from like Honda Center or something like that, you're gonna have to send us some money to go with that too for traveling.
Yeah. We would love to do that.
I know we've had requests to like, they come down to a game and that kind of thing. It's like, you realize like what flights and games are right now kind of thing. And like we are up in Southern Alberta and Canada there. It's like, it's a distance for us to get down.
Yeah. With the dollar the way it is too, like it sucks for us to go do that stuff. But eventually we will be down there because I mean, I've always just kind of wanted to go, back to Anaheim. Because the last time I was there, I was like 8 years old. But
yeah, it was Disneyland.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I would love to go back and like actually appreciate the city as like an adult, and go to Disneyland as an adult, go to Honda Center, go to a football game, basketball game, whatever. Like it would be a ton of fun. So we'll be there eventually. Don't worry.
We will be seeing the Ducks in person though. I guess we can say this now. In March, we got tickets for when they are coming to Calgary. And which is near the end of the season, but we'll still get to see them at least.
Mm-hmm.
And but we will be going to see the San Diego Gulls in Calgary as well in December here, just in a couple months, against the new Calgary Wranglers. So that'll be good to go see. So we will be giving you some in-person analysis, I guess. But
yeah, we'll have to figure out
yeah,
what we're going to do. Like, if we're going to go live in the intermissions on a platform, or if we're just going to be like live tweeting and do like a post game reaction, or I don't know. We'll figure out something to do. But
live tweeting for sure. And I don't know, maybe like Instagram Live or something like that. We don't do as much on an Instagram platform. Maybe that's how we get people to go there.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, that'd be a ton of fun. And I'm excited for the Gulls game. Well, I'm excited for both, obviously, but the Gulls game will be fun because tickets are cheaper for that, obviously. So we got like
hell of a lot cheaper.
like just stupidly cheap. Like it's, and I mean, it's still probably as much as it is to go to like say like a Coyotes game, like a Coyotes NHL game. Like it's probably equivalent that way, but like
when they were at their old building, not in the not at ASU now.
yeah. But I'm excited for that one because we'll have like lower bowl seats, so we'll be like closer to the action. We'll maybe get to like interact with some of the players, like go down and get like high fives or whatever as they're going like down the tunnel. But there's no way we'll be able to do that for the Ducks Flames game. We'd have to be very sneaky to get down to the lower bowl.
They do let you do that for warm-ups, so we could still get down there.
That's true. Yeah,
just not during the game. We'll be second bowl for that.
Yeah, we should do a sign that says like Zegras, give us an interview for our podcast with like the logo on that. Yeah, or something like that, and maybe we'll get a puck or a stick or something. That'd be cool.
That'd be all right.
Yeah,
that'd be all right. How do we split if we were to get something though? I mean, I also don't want to take away from any kids. If there's kids, they can have the stuff. Yeah. But like, if we were to get a Mason McTavish stick or something like that, how do we split that?
I don't know. One of us gets the shaft, the other gets the blade.
Just breaks the thing. I'm sure there's people like cringing right now. Like, why were you doing that? Why are you doing that?
Yeah, I don't know if we get the right saw and the right construction worker, we could maybe just like slice it right down the middle, get a nice cross section.
I don't think we overly want to be cutting fiberglass right now.
No, definitely not. Yeah, no, but it'd be cool to at least have that interaction with either the Gulls or the Ducks, like in the warm-ups. Get a sign, get on TV a little bit.
Yeah, I think you got to take, because you have a Silverberg jersey.
That's true.
You got to hang it over the rail, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's some people that are listening even going like, oh, like adults trying to get autographs is cringe or that. And you know what? Like, if it's for yourself, I just say, oh, whatever. The people who get the autographs just to go and sell them online right away, yeah, you fucking suck. But that's exactly my opinion on it. So, I mean, like, there's not too many guys that I go out of my way to like try to get an autograph from, but that's me.
Yeah, no, that's true. I didn't even think of that, to get an autograph from Silverberg. So yeah, good idea. Very good idea. So, anyways, enough about that. Long story short, we're going to be going to a couple games, so we'll have a little bonus content for you this season. So
stuff will be good. Yeah.
Okay, shall we get into this this game on Saturday?
It's only game 2, but do we have to?
Yeah,
let's do it.
Okay. So, Ducks 1, Islanders 7, which was not even close to what we said. Did we both have? I had 4-2. You had 3-1.
I had 3-1
for Anaheim.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we weren't even close there. No.
Yep. This is why I gave up on predictions.
That's the fun of it, though, because when you get it, you're like, "Fuck yeah!" Like one for 82 is not bad. So, yeah, it's definitely not what we expected. I think it's not what a lot of people expected. But we were kind of chatting off air, and you had brought up that the Islanders have a new coach, so they maybe aren't the defensive, or they don't play as the defensive team that we expect them to, even though they look like the same defensive team as before.
My kind of idea was that like this is a team that knows how to play defense very well, mind you.
Yeah.
And but now you have like both the defense and the offense are very defense responsible, I guess.
Yeah.
But now they're being allowed to go offensively a little bit more than they have in the last few years with Barry Trotz. So yeah, I was saying off air, we might have actually put the Islanders too low because when I was thinking about it, I was still thinking that Trotz was behind
Yeah,
the
me too.
bench. So I was like, oh, okay. So we'll have to see. I mean, I still feel fairly confident with the pick just because of who's ahead of them in my predictions, but the Islanders might have a bit. They might make it a bit more of a conversation, not just like they're gonna miss like just by a little margin kind of thing. It's like no, they might be like if they miss, it'll be like last day of the season kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if they can capitalize on the teams that they even only see a couple times
Yeah.
a year, like us and apparently, and Chicago, Arizona, like those kind of teams, like. And I mean, obviously, the Rangers and the Hurricanes are probably also going to dominate those teams too. But like winning those games that you obviously should win will at least keep you in the conversation for a playoff push. But yeah, we'll we'll have to see if we potentially underrated the Islanders here. So
might have. So
yeah,
because I was even trying to think of like okay, well yeah, last year they had just shit circumstances for a good chunk of it.
yeah,
But also just with like not really any improvement to not really any change to the roster whatsoever. It's like, okay, well, I don't know, like maybe just that it almost felt kind of stagnant in a way. So
yeah,
they didn't get worse, but they didn't get better, at least on paper. So
yeah, like many of the other teams in their division did.
yeah.
So, so yeah, I guess more specifically about this game though. Yeah, like 7 goals, it's hard to say, oh, like it's hard to like. There's obviously blame to be placed for these 7 goals. Like teams shouldn't let in 7 goals, but at the same time, like you had said earlier, like it's still early in the season, right? It's game 2, so like is like it's not really time to overreact, I guess. In a way,
It's
so
time to just pick apart what needs to be improved, right? Which
yeah,
is normally what the you would think the preseason's for. The preseason's is more trying to figure out like, okay, who's going to be in San Diego, who's going to be in Anaheim, kind of thing,
yeah,
right? And kind of the last like 2 or 3 games is more you're trying to work out some of these kinks, hopefully. Um, but the Ducks, it just hasn't seemed to happen over the last few years, though. It's always kind of the first few games that you're trying to figure out what's
yeah,
working, what's not. Even going into the halfway point of the season, it's hey, what's working,
yeah,
what still needs to be improved. So,
yeah,
which is a little frustrating at times for sure, but
yeah, for sure. But um, yeah, I mean, which of these goals, I guess, do you want to pick on?
this is gonna sound like we're just repeating last season stuff because a lot of it is more defensive stuff. I know it's the goals against, right, which is
Yeah,
on the defensive side, but like, it's overall defensiveness again, same as
yeah,
last year. I'm just kind of reading through my quick notes from it.
because it's hard to remember 7 goals.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 4, 5, and 6 actually.
Okay.
Because the first goal, the note I like literally the only note I have for the first goal is just happens. Second goal is just kind of your standard, like can't be letting guys walk into that position in the slot, which I believe that was Shattenkirk had
Yeah.
let Matt Martin just kind of in there. Third one was just a turnover in the offensive zone by Kulikov, which defensive end, yeah, I guess. And I have the note I have here, Wallstrom's already way behind him before he even knows what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the fourth one, I'm not going to spend too long on. That was a shot from top, like goalie's top left, and just ticked off the toe of Henrique's stick. Again, I'm not an NHL player. Adam Henrique has played like way more games than I will ever imagine playing. But if you're, I don't know, for me being a goalie, it's like, okay, if my players are gonna block the shot, don't try to use the stick for it because that's a lot easier to change how a puck's gonna move, right? Or where it's gonna go compared to if you're gonna put your body in front of it, right?
Yeah.
If you want to try to be a goalie with player pads, all the power to you, but like play it like that almost in a way, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I remember like even us just playing ball hockey, you were good at that. Like the first couple of times was like kind of off the stick, and I'm like, no, get your body in front of it. You did it, and sure enough,
Yeah.
it works, right?
Yeah.
So
I remember the
that's
one,
yeah.
there was the one game that I tried to prevent a cross crease pass with just my stick, not like my body or anything. And I ended up like with the most beautiful tip 5-hole, but it was on you,
Yeah.
not the other
And
team.
it
So
was like similar to this, it was like off the blade of the stick. It wasn't even the
yeah.
shaft, right? So
Yeah,
we
exactly.
we
So
just kind of
like,
figured out like, okay, if you're gonna do those cross creases, like stick down all the way kind of thing, right? And not like try to do it off. Yeah, like it's stuff
mhm,
that we can figure out even playing ball hockey. And like again, like we know guys like Henrique know, and they are trying to get their body in front of it, but he's just I don't
but it's
like I
at the
said, I'm not
same
gonna spend
time,
too
like,
much time on it, but
yeah, it's at the same time, like, if you are going to block the shot, it's not like Henrique obviously knows, like, you're not trying to block it with your stick, but at the same time, you have to get your stick out of the way because
yeah,
you use your stick for deflections. So if you're trying to block it with, or if the stick is in the path of the puck, it's just going to be a deflection. It's
yeah.
very, very rare that it's not going to just, that it's going to get blocked and just like the puck's just going to die because you're like holding your stick loosely with your one hand, right?
Yeah,
So you have
if
to get
you're
it out of the way, is kind of my point.
if you're gonna put your body on the line, don't be a hindrance to your goalie at the same time. Um,
Yeah.
fifth goal I had was kind of an overall defensive thing. It was a uh, kind of a mad advantage that I almost want to put again, younger guy, new guy, especially for
Hmm.
North American hockey. But Pavel Regenda is skating back to his end following Lee when Kulikov is skating backwards with Lee. Already has him covered, right?
Hmm.
Regenda doesn't necessarily need to be there. And that causes a man to be wide open with Drysdale having to cover two guys in front of the net,
Yeah.
right? So and if a guy like Regenda is there just covering somebody at least, right?
Hmm.
You're hopefully not in that same situation. So because
Yeah.
everybody else had a guy, it seemed, in that play
Hmm.
pretty quickly. Like even though
Yeah.
it was a rush goal, but
Hmm. Yeah.
um
And that's one of those things where, like you said, he's a new guy. So it's just, he made a mistake and now he just has
yeah,
to be told that and learn from it. And
yeah.
hopefully
And
it doesn't happen again. Like, it's not
yeah.
like a reason to crucify the guy or anything
No, and
like
again,
that. It just
I'm
happens.
not trying to shit
No,
on anybody here.
no,
It's
yeah,
more
I
just like,
know.
okay,
Yeah.
this is what I'm noticing. So let's try to figure out how we can fix
Yeah.
this.
I'm just trying to keep anyone else from
Yeah.
jumping on the, send it, Regenda back to whatever league he played in
Yeah. No,
before,
no,
the
no.
Czech league or Finnish
No.
league. I don't
Don't
remember
do
which one
that.
it was, but yeah, it's just going to happen. So
Yeah. And then the sixth goal there was more just wasn't that anything was necessarily wrong on it. Something about goalie's top left, like in
mhm.
terms of the zone, like by the blue line there, that was a massive uh place for the Islanders in that game, scoring 3 of their 7 goals from in that area.
Yeah.
Um
Sorry, I just want to clarify something. This was
yeah,
also when Stellars was in net, right? Because he went
yes.
in
Yeah, this was
after the fifth goal.
the first Stellaris goal against there in the third
Okay.
period.
Okay.
So um yeah, just things did kind of move rather quickly, but that was just a spot that they really seemed to like in this game. Like they were taking a lot of different chances uh, from that spot as well. Taking a look at natural stat trick, they had uh, over four and a half shot chances from that spot. Just and even
Mhm.
particularly in the left side there. Here, I'll pull up uh, the heat map here
Oh yeah,
from Stat Trick so you can take a look at it.
here it is. It's coming. Just wait.
I was trying to time it with you at first, and I realized,
yeah.
oh, he's just holding it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you can see, like here in the like by the line there, 3 goals in that spot, with like 5 plus shot attempts coming from that area too. And again,
Mhm.
just like a little bit lower, but still on that left side, kind of like just inside the circle, but not quite the slot yet. They just really like that area. But then like, you can really see it's we seem to do better at least in this game straight down the middle, but it was like
Yeah.
the sides of the slot were just open for these
Mm-hmm.
guys.
Yeah.
Luckily on the Ducks side, we did get a fair amount of shot attempts
Yeah, I'm
in the
pleased with
middle
that heat
there.
map, honestly.
So, but shot attempts and actual shots are two different things as well, right? So,
Yeah.
the one goal that we had was Troy Terry. That is a positive I at least have in my notes here, was that the forwards, that was a great shift for the forwards, I thought,
Mm-hmm.
because again, we talk about the Islanders being defensive minded, right? And they do very well on their defensive side, and they were able to move the puck around enough that everybody kind of got separated and allowed Terry to walk through the middle. And if you watch the replay, that's like behind the, like up on the glass behind the goalie,
Mm-hmm.
you can see that Terry gets in there, and then all five Islanders defensemen at that point are collapsing in on him.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like they just separated them that much that they were able to walk in. Basically, Terry did what every team does to us, but the the Ducks as a whole got everybody a lot more open, right? Compared to us, where it's like everybody's still kind of close together, but we're still having guys get in there. So
Yeah.
so there's a positive there. If oh why yeah, anyway. The seventh goal is not particularly about what happened or that kind of thing. It's more
Mm-hmm.
what happened. Okay, it is what happened, but it's more what happened after the fact. So the seventh goal, I forget who skates across the top of the crease, but
Yeah, I
does
don't know.
hit Stellars's glove and mask, like his head, enough to like
Mm-hmm.
turn his head as the shot is coming in there.
Yeah.
And it's like just at the top of the paint, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like where it's like it is just sticking out, but at the same time though, like even on the broadcast, they're kind of wondering like, oh, like do you call this for like do you challenge this for goaltender interference and that kind of
Yeah.
thing? And
Because it
or
is
it's like,
so
yeah,
subtle and
but
questionable.
the idea at least on the broadcast was more, well, like does it really matter at this point, right? There's a minute
Mm-hmm.
left in the game. It's the seventh goal. You're down by 6 at that point. Like, is it really worth it? My only question was, so does it matter for the game in particular? No, but does it matter in your goalie's confidence of the coaching staff? Possibly. Am I
Mm-hmm.
reading way too much into this? More possible even than the previous
Uh,
question there.
you
But
know what? I don't think so. No.
if it's, like again, yeah, it's 1 minute. Who cares in the grand scheme of the game, right? But it's
Mm-hmm.
like if you're not gonna, from a goalie perspective, I just kind of wonder like if your coach isn't gonna try to help you out, right? Like see that you were at a disadvantage there.
Mm-hmm.
Is he doing the same thing? And you could, from a fan perspective, you could argue that he has been, right? Because how many people aren't a fan of Dallas Eakins being behind the bench, right?
Yeah.
It's not so much with the rest of the bench staff, but they're newer, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like, what is, if he's not going to call for, if they're not going to call for something like that, right? Like, are they going to call for a change up of guys in front of you, which is something we'll also get into a little bit later,
Yeah.
of like how things are structured, how your system is structured, right? Like, if
Mm-hmm.
things aren't working in your favor, like, I don't know. I could totally be reading way too much into something like that just from a goalie perspective myself, even, but it was just something that crossed my mind, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna put that down as a note actually. So, because
Yeah. No, I
yeah,
don't think you're like too far out of left field on that. Like, I think probably reason number one is let's figure out what goalie interference is this year. Let's see what they're calling and what they're not.
oh my god, that was like an entire episode almost last year of like
Yeah.
diving into it.
Yeah, it was. But I think the second reason is exactly what you gave. Is it's like the coach kind of standing up for the goalie. Like, hey, I think my guy was interfered with here. Like, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of the game, but like if it can give this guy Stolars, who we'll get into it later. We're going to see him next week because we have a back to back.
Yeah.
If we want him to be confident going into that, right? Like, so if we can get that call back, then he looks at it and I only let in one goal on X amount of shots. Like that's It's a decent night considering we let in 7 as a team. Like that's,
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. As opposed to 2 in one period. Like it's just that subtle difference there. So I think there is a little bit of, I guess, player management involved in that decision from Eakins and the
Mhm.
coaching staff. I don't know if you've
Yeah,
listened to
and I guess we know
the
with goaltenders and Dallas Eakins player management. Oh yeah, those things just
yeah
go hand in hand, don't they?
yeah the we obviously don't we aren't the biggest fans of Dallas Eakins on this podcast, but the which one was it? Yeah, behind the bench is on Duckstream is kind of the coaching staff show. So it's not just Dallas Eakins; it's the whole coaching staff. Like we'll be on every couple weeks to just give their perspective and like their background a little bit. And the first episode featured Dallas Eakins, of course, and he said in the offseason, I forget which NFL team it was. I want to say the Dallas Cowboys because he's from Dallas, I think, but I could be wrong
That's a
on
lot of
that.
Dallases.
Yeah, maybe that's why I'm thinking of it because his name's Dallas. I don't know. It was the point is like it doesn't matter what the NFL team is, but the point is he like studied with a NFL coach in the off season as they were like kind of getting ready for their like the NFL camp and like the start of their season in preseason. And
Yeah.
obviously he's not going to like figure out plays or anything like that, and because they're two totally different sports. But he got like the how to manage a team and how to like manage your players and stuff like that and be kind of more of like that player's coach, but how to balance that with like, no, I am the coach and this is what I say goes, but also like, okay, I hear you, I'm standing up for you, like that kind of stuff. So I wonder if
Yeah.
that we'll kind of see more of this stuff where like, yeah, maybe he's still not going to be the best coach because some things you can't teach, but I think some of the soft coaching skills, I guess, we might see an improvement with for Eakins. And I think this could be an example of that. So I don't think you're reading too much into it, honestly. I think it's actually a very good observation.
All right.
So
Sounds good.
yeah,
I'm
from my
glad I'm not out
perspective.
to lunch here. And it's just
No.
like, okay, I'm like just eating lunch. I'm hangry. And why the fuck is he not doing this?
Yeah, it's something I never thought of, but no, I think you could be right there. So
um yeah, what else did I have here for some notes, I guess? I don't know if you had added anything in
no, because
particular, but
no, because I think you covered everything
okay,
super
cool.
well. Yeah, so there isn't really anything I wanted to add, but
Okay, there's the one we have highlighted. I'm gonna save that for the end, just to
yeah,
let you
for sure.
know.
Yeah.
I'll get it off the we've talked about the goaltending a little bit. It could have been better. Gibson with an 815 save percentage, a negative 223 goals save above expected. Stellar's an 818 save percentage with a negative zero point 0.9 goals save above expected. It could have been better, but it is also understandably hard when your defense allows the opposition to just shoot where they want to, right? Like I was
Yeah.
showing the heat map. There was the 3 particular spots that the Islanders really seemed to like, and they were being allowed those opportunities. You could see that in the highlight pack. I could see it in like the first like the good chunk of the first period that I was able to watch before I had to go work kind of thing. Like you just see like that's where they were getting their chances, and the Ducks just allowed them to keep going there.
Yeah.
And to continue, and again, I don't want to harp on the defense, but that's when so much of the game was played in the defensive end, it seemed,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like luckily the Ducks do go 4 for 4 on the penalty kill in
Yeah,
this
that was
game,
nice to
considering there
see.
were
Yeah.
7 goals against.
Mm-hmm.
But the Islanders 6 goal was only like a few seconds past the expiration of one of the penalty kills, and it's again kind of what we were even talking about this on the live stream on Wednesday there, just clearing pucks and
Mm-hmm.
staying on the man that you're supposed to be covering, like have to be focused on if you're able to improve just getting pucks out of danger chances and actually being able to stay with your guy more, right? Um, this defense is going to skyrocket, right? Like
Yeah.
it seems like it's just simple things that are kind of holding this team back, both last year and 2 games into this season. So
Mm-hmm.
because we saw the exact same thing, I think against Seattle, with how the defense was playing.
Yeah.
So, and like not just the 6 of them, but like the team defensively, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Um, yeah,
um,
the one that I want
yeah,
to highlight here that you had brought up I guess it's kind of more of a negative, but you're saying the power play needs more shots on net. But the Islanders are a good defensive team,
Yeah.
right? So
my thing with the power play was like they were able to get movement and it looked fine, but only
mhm,
getting 2 shots on 4 power play opportunities
yeah,
total. That doesn't seem great to me. And we know this team, like especially with
mhm,
the guys that are on the power play, can get shots. They are
yeah,
offensively gifted out the ass pretty much, right? For a few of
mhm,
them, especially some of the younger guys,
yeah,
which does lead into a positive of like Terry and McTavish were constantly around the net getting opportunities.
mhm,
Especially McTavish. He was the highest on the team in expected goals for out of last night, which is saying something considering that those stats weren't necessarily high.
yeah,
Um, Zegras was up there as well for 5-on-5 uh, expected goals at like 85% kind of
mhm,
thing out of like 100, right? Only 2 guys in the game were higher than Zegras for 5-on-5 expected, which were on the Islanders side of Pelican Pollock.
oh, okay,
So like Zegras was hungry around the net as well. Um, and then yeah, where did I have here? Yeah, for all situations, um, McTavish 0.669 expected goals, which again is the highest. It's not a one yet kind of thing, but like
yeah,
guy had 3 shots on goal with how many attempts did he have on with 7 attempts,
mhm,
5 of them being unblocked as well. So and then yeah, Troy Terry is the next leading there at 0.43. 3 shots on goal with I think 11 attempts. Yeah, 11 attempts, 7 of them blocked. Like they're around the net and hungry. Just if they're able to get a couple more just on net, right? Like even just one more each for each guy
yeah,
could be an extra goal for the team. So,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
for McTavish, I had like this is especially a good sign. Like the goals will hopefully come soon for him. We know he can do it, right? We saw it even in last year's 9 games that we saw.
Mhm,
So there is upsides on the offense. There's some downsides on the defense, but there's some good and bad and some leniency I'll give to both sides, I guess. So
yeah, yeah, which is fair. So, um, I was just curious. I wanted to pull up um, oh no, this isn't exactly what I want, but nope, never mind. Okay,
all right.
we're good. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's okay. We'll move on. But yeah, I like you had mentioned about the power play, the movement was really good on it. And I
Mhm.
think that's like a huge credit to Klingberg because not only is he like his vision of the ice on the power play is just like phenomenal. Like I feel
Yeah.
like he thinks the game just like at such a high level, just from what I've seen in these couple games. But like the defense has to respect the shot or anything coming from Klingberg, whereas it didn't really feel like the opposing penalty kill had to do that in the previous couple of years. Like, yeah, you still
Yeah.
had to respect the shot, but like teams are like challenging Klingberg now to
Mhm.
like, no, you have to make a play now, like trying to force him to mess up in a way. But then that opens up things for like Zegras and McTavish and all the other guys. Like, I don't think Zegras's one timer from game one against the Kraken happens if Klingberg's not running that power play and like a legitimate threat because otherwise, why are you moving? The microphone just like dipped down. That was weird. But like, I don't think Zegras gets that opportunity at like the open pass and like the open lane to the net without Klingberg up there. So I
Yeah.
think, yeah, there's a lot of potential with this power play, but the shot first mentality needs to improve. So I agree with you there. But
Yeah. Speaking of that power play goal on Wednesday as well, the
mhm.
photograph that got out of like Zegras just with like the fuck yeah face basically as like
Yeah,
they're celebrating the goal. It's fantastic.
love
Fantastic.
it. Yeah, no, that's perfect. So, um, yeah, and then to piggyback off what you were saying about Terry and McTavish as well, like that's um, just having like a potent offensive blue line, I guess, can open up like the opportunities for them too. I don't know if you mentioned that, but it's something that I really like about Klingberg and our blue line this year. So
Yeah, absolutely. Um Okay. Now I do. I have this note here, and I want to give it 2 games more max with
Hmm.
this Eastern Conference swing. But right away, to me, Kulikov Drysdale is not really working out. Um,
Hmm.
that pairing alone was out for 3 of the 7 goals against for New York there.
Hmm.
And
And remember,
yeah,
it's all 5-on-5
yeah.
too.
Yeah, it just was not looking great. And like individually, their numbers weren't horrible, but it seems just like as a pairing, it doesn't quite work.
Yeah,
And it's
like
definitely
on
not the
paper.
pairing. It's not the pairing that I would have put together personally. Again,
Mhm.
I am not an NHL coach whatsoever. I've coached like university guys just out for like fun kind of thing, like beer hockey, like beer league hockey, basically. Like I've
Mhm.
done that kind of thing. I'm not an NHL coach whatsoever, but
Yeah,
that's not the pair that I would put together necessarily.
yeah.
They did
To be
all
fair, it
right.
does look good on paper, right? But like
Yeah.
just in practice, it's like okay, maybe there's some issues
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
They did all right against Seattle, but that's also a team that, is around where we are as well, right?
Hmm.
And then you put it against a team like the Islanders who again may not make the playoffs with based on our predictions, but is still better, I would say. And they just
Yeah.
tore that pairing at least a lot like apart. They had an on ice goals against expected of 0.34. So like not even half a goal
Mhm.
when they let in 3. So uh a negative 2.7, we'll round it there.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Mhm.
So,
Like
and
like
it,
you
it
said
could
though.
be it could be in part with the rest of the team, like the other 3
Mhm.
guys on the ice too, right? That didn't help their numbers as a pairing necessarily, but
Yeah.
just between the 2 of them like that, like they're fine individually and their numbers show it too, but the the pairing of them, I want to see against the Rangers and the Devils here coming
Mhm.
up because we'll have the Rangers who are a team that, spoiler alert, should probably kick our ass unless we
7-1,
unless we
8-1,
really
9-1.
step up to it kind of
Yeah.
thing, which we've seen over the last couple of
It
years
happens.
that
Yeah.
the Ducks seem to do for some reason.
Hmm.
And then the Devils, which is a team that it's kind of the midway point, I feel like, between the Ducks and the Islanders, right? Like they're a team that's definitely building up, but it's not. I feel like they're just missing like 1 or 2 things to be a solid contender, and like they'll be in there, I think, in the next 2 years for sure, and then
Yeah.
be there for a while. I feel like so. So I want to see how it goes with there and take a look,
Yeah.
but from the 2 games, again, it's only 2 games, but
Mhm.
um, from the
Yeah.
two
Like
games I've seen, and they
like are they
even
just trying to figure things out? Was this
yeah.
just like a really bad game for them? Like it's who
And
knows? Like was Drysdale hung over? Did he have a good night
yeah,
on Friday night? Like what like you just don't know what could happen. Like they could be lights out against the Rangers.
yeah.
And
And that
but
pairing, at least against the Islanders here, did have the most 5-on-5 ice time at just under 15 minutes.
mhm.
Again, that's where we're kind of talking about like team management and player management of like, okay, if you're seeing that these guys as a pairing are getting shelled, why are you throwing them out there for almost like for 3/4 of a period?
For me, it would be it's early in the season. I don't want to bench you for a mistake that you made in game 2 and
No,
just
there
ruin the
it's
rest of your season. So it's like,
yeah.
okay, here, let's have another chance. Like, well, I'm not going to punish you for this one. So, but after the second one, maybe you're like, okay, let's maybe shake things up. Let's maybe go Drysdale with who did we have? Benoit, and let's
Yeah,
or
just
something or Drysdale and
yeah,
like just
yeah,
mix it up somehow,
I
right?
wasn't going to the idea of benching them or anything like that. I wasn't
Yeah.
going with that. It's more just on Eakin's side. That's where you got to go. Okay, something is not working here, and we talk about how Eakins does the blender thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's most of the time it's like when we're complaining about that, it's because something is working, and then he switches it up and it
Hmm.
goes to something lesser, right?
Yeah.
And then for like in the case of last year with Jones up with Zegras and Terry, right? It's just it didn't work, but that's what he wants to stick with rather than the stuff that does work.
Hmm.
And this is something that's again not working overly. Again, it's only 2 games, but doesn't look like it's working well, but he's sticking with, right? Like that's a case where I would have been okay with the blender coming out a little bit for the defensive side, right? Even just for
Yeah.
like a few shifts, right? And like kind of just see what seems to kind of work, right?
Mhm.
While they didn't play a whole lot last year, they played less than I thought they did actually. Like Fowler Drysdale could have been something that you went to just for a little bit, right? Or like you said, like a Drysdale Benoit or something like
Yeah,
that, right? Just
just to see
just to
what would happen.
see
Yeah.
something, right? So
Yeah. So
um
my
but
after you had brought this up and I looked more more into it, that Kulikov and Drysdale just got like absolutely hammered. I was thinking like, what are some like, is this just because this is how our defense has to be, or is there something else we could do to potentially make it better? And looking at it, Fowler and Klingberg on the top pairing, like, looks good on paper. Like, obviously, why wouldn't you try that and see if you can just have one of the best top pairings in the NHL, right? But it just makes our bottom four so much weaker. So
you
I
got
want
to
to
spread
know,
the wealth a little bit.
yeah. So I want to know what you think could potentially be better if we take Fowler and Klingberg and separate them. What could our defensive pairings look like, given what we have right now? Obviously, with Vakanainen out.
Yeah. So I think I don't remember exactly what I was saying for pairings when we were talking about like what we thought the lineup could look like here.
Yeah.
Was what was that about a week before the season started?
Yeah. Yep.
Um, I feel like this is kind of close though, and like we even talked about it before the show, and it does seem to kind of make sense. You still have balance of left and right side. My top line would go Fowler Drysdale. Those are two guys that
Hmm.
have played together. My big thing with this line is they're not going to be that wouldn't be a physical line by any means, I don't think.
No.
But in an NHL that is every year rapidly increasing in speed, you need guys who can keep up with those top line or top two line guys on the forward side, right? You need to
Hmm.
keep up with the guys like the McKinnons or the McDavids. Um, Looking at say like Calgary, like the Lindholms, even right. He's a guy that can be fast on his feet. And then yeah, like you just need the guys that can be speedy and have decent like defensive responsibility at least, right?
Yeah, like are
Fowler's
smart
a guy that
positionally or whatever, and can
yeah,
like take the puck away with their stick or just box guys out. Like, they don't need to be making the big hits, but they need to
yeah,
be
and I
able to
think
play with the top guys in the league. Yeah.
yeah, and I think Fowler and Drysdale both individually do a great job at that. And Drysdale, we
Oh, for
saw it
sure.
even on a couple chances last night. My second line, yes, you're paying the guy $7 million, but you're probably shipping him off at the deadline anyway. I still have Klingberg on that second line. Obviously, he's going to be the top though for your power play though, right?
Yeah.
So Klingberg with someone more like a Bolio or a Benoit for these few games until Vakanainen is back. Hopefully, it's soon. Again, we haven't really heard anything
Hmm.
since uh, he was taken off the ice in that preseason match
Yeah.
a while ago. Yeah, I haven't been able to see anything about it.
Yeah. Besides that, he got released from hospital, which means he's generally okay. But like, we don't know
Yeah,
when he's going to come back.
like there
So
hasn't been anything of even him like skating on his
no.
own or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's weird.
which like I'm not. It's it is easy to find that line of like not invading someone's health privacy,
Hmm.
right? Or like HIPAA violations, because I know like that's the American thing, right? But like
Yeah.
also just the Ducks being very tight-lipped about everything, right? And we were kind of hoping with some of these like Duck streams that they're doing that some of that stuff opens up a little bit more.
Hmm.
But even some of the stuff of like we don't have a third jersey schedule and the team just like came out, oh yeah, we're wearing the thirds this like for the home opener, and everyone's just like it's not a big thing in the grand scheme of things, but like
No.
just even down to that, we don't have anything.
Yeah.
So anyway, Klingberg, Vakanainen, that'd be my choice for the second one, because you have
Hmm.
Klingberg, who is that more offensive, and Vakanainen, who is kind of that more all around defenseman, I would say.
Hmm.
Yes, he is a bit more on the younger side, both in terms of age and experience in the NHL. But that's a pairing I think could work decently. Which leaves Kulikov and Shattenkirk as your bottom guys. Those are the guys that will hit. Shattenkirk especially has somehow continued to get better on the defensive side of his game, and it might be just with age, right?
Yeah, I think it has to be. Yeah, he's just
But I
had to
think those
adapt,
two
right?
is kind of like a shutdown third pairing.
Hmm.
Could work really well. So again, just
Yeah.
top line Fowler, Drysdale. Second line either Bolio, Benoit or Vakanainen with Klingberg, and then Kulikov, Shattenkirk. So I'd like to
Hmm.
see that happen. I know it's not going to happen because we've talked
Yeah.
about stuff like this before. Of like, oh, I'd like to see this guy and this guy together, and we never get it. So not
But
that we
it's
control the team, but like
it's
you
the
get what I
ideal
mean.
situation, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Like,
and yeah, Kulikov and Shattenkirk. So
yeah, I would just like to see if, because I agree with you, that's what I would put together too. Like, I would just like to see if that would work, or if any of those pairings would work, and then you can
mm,
put the blender together with other ones, or take a look at what you need to maybe add at the deadline for next season or in the off season. Like, you just need to
yeah,
know what the state of the team is going to be. And like, I've come out and said, like, I really like Kulikov. I think he's a great NHL defenseman. There's just other guys ahead of him in Minnesota, and also they have no cap, so they couldn't really fit him. I guess that
yeah.
was probably the big one. But
That's the only reason we have him. Otherwise, like he
yeah,
would still be a wild player.
yeah. But Kulikov, like, I'm sorry, he's just not a second pairing NHL defenseman, and I don't think putting him with a young guy is a good idea. He's a very defensively responsible player, but like, he just doesn't have the foot speed to keep up with the top guys in the NHL. But you
Yeah,
put him with Shattenkirk, those guys are just gonna they're gonna park themselves on the blue line, and then they're gonna skate backwards as soon as the other team gets the puck, and then they're just gonna close gaps, and they're gonna prevent odd man
yeah,
rushes, and like, that's what you want against the bottom six. And I think that was partially an issue against the Islanders, is like, their bottom six could just do whatever the fuck they
yeah.
wanted. They
They
were
had all
scoring goals
lines
left, right, and center.
scoring. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But you put Kulikov back there, and I think that solves your issue. I think having him with Drysdale, yes, it's defensive defenseman with offensive defenseman, but putting Kulikov on the blue line makes it so Drysdale can't maybe take some of the offensive approaches that he really likes. Like, he can't pinch super hard and like go below the goal line, because then you're stuck with slow ass 34-year-old Kulikov, or whatever he is, with, I don't know, probably Frank
Did we say he's like
Vetrano, who's not a
31?
defenseman, or Trevor Zegras, who's not a defenseman, who has to cover back for Drysdale. So either you end up with shit defensemen and odd man rushers going the other way, or Drysdale just has to be a sitting duck, no pun intended, but and just can't like flourish like we've seen before, and show off his skating and his puck moving abilities, right? So
Yeah,
that's the
and
issue I have with that pairing, is I think that Kulikov's just holding Drysdale back a little bit.
I know you're just using it like as like, oh, here's an example. But like I do remember times in that Seattle game where Trevor Zegras was busting ass back
Hmm.
because of something that happened in the blue line there, right? So which
Yeah.
good on him. I'm loving that
Hmm.
he's getting out of that shell of being that one-dimensional guy like early in his career too,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, like, it's going to happen, obviously. Like, I'm
yeah.
not saying Trevor Zegras should never have to play defense and should never
No,
back
no,
check,
no.
but like,
We don't need a Blake Wheeler, Mark Scheifele thing in Winnipeg. Yeah, absolutely not. I don't.
yeah,
I would rather not have that, please.
yeah. But if Drysdale coughs up the puck at like the circle, and then sends, say, Nathan McKinnon and Mikko Rantanen, for example, on like
Mhm.
a breakout, and then Kulikov has to try and haul ass back, and then just Zegras is trying to haul ass back and doesn't really know as well as, say, Drysdale, how to play defense against some of these guys. Like,
Yeah,
that's going in, even if it's not an odd man rush. McKinnon and Rantanen are going to make us pay, whereas Drysdale could hopefully, you know, be able to rely on, say, a guy like Cam Fowler to have that foot speed and that defensive knowledge to, even if he's on a 2-on-1, to hopefully break up odd man rush against the top guys. So
yeah, and even Kulikov, like on that giveaway that he had in the offensive zone for the third goal, right?
mhm.
That was Wallstrom who got the breakaway from. Who was that from exactly? Again, it
I
was
don't remember.
the third goal because he tried to pass it down, down the boards. It got picked off and sent right to Wallstrom right away.
Yeah.
And Wallstrom's at the red line before Kulikov knows what even happened. And he's trying to get back, but he's not going to be able
it's not
to,
even close,
right?
yeah.
So, yeah,
yeah, which is, I think, a rare mistake for Kulikov. Like, it doesn't usually happen. But in this case, there was no backup plan, I guess.
No. Yeah, there was no backup plan except for John Gibson, and unfortunately that didn't work out.
Yeah.
Penalty shots, or not penalty shots, breakaways, 50-50 chance, I'd say. Right?
Yeah.
Like, so
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think this is kind of a nice summary of the game. Like, I mean, not really summary because it was long, but like we touched on everything that I think we needed to, and it's not like, oh my God, this team sucks. Like, get ready for a 1-81 finish on the season. But it's like, these are just the things that need to be cleaned up in the next couple of weeks, or we are going to have a very rough season. So I would just, if we can improve these things, clean them up so they happen less frequently, we have a pretty good shot at not being absolutely abysmal this season. So okay, we got a little bit of Ducks news to get to. Well, actually quite a bit, but they're all like fairly short points. So we will take a quick break, and you will hear from our friends at DraftKings. Use promo code THPN at sign up to put money down potentially on the Rangers absolutely demolishing the Ducks, because that is probably what's going to happen. So yeah, promo code THPN for that. We will see you on the other side for some news, and then some upcoming games and the rest of the episode.
Hockey fans, it's finally time to hit the ice again. And thanks to DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you're in for the season of a lifetime. New customers can bet $5 on any team and get $200 in free bets if they win. Maybe you want to take the odds on Mason McTavish winning the Calder Trophy for Rookie of the Year this year. He has the second best odds on DraftKings Sportsbook behind Matty Beniers of the Seattle Kraken at plus 500. And if that wasn't enough excitement, you can turn small bets into bigger payouts with same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets like which team will win, how many goals will be scored, and more for your shot at an even bigger payout. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. So, what are you waiting for? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, use the promo code THPN, bet $5 on any NHL team to win their game, and get $200 in free bets if they do. Again, that's code THPN, as in the Hockey Podcast Network, only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
So you brought up just of like, oh, hey, throw some money down on the Rangers kicking the Ducks. Rangers -215 odds in favor of them to win. That's the money line on DraftKings Sportsbook. At what time is it here? 2:26 Pacific on Sunday.
Yeah, which for those that are unaware, that's what'd you say? 235, 215? No, it's for the odds. Sorry.
Oh, -215. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, you put down $2.15 and you would receive back $3.15. So an extra dollar on your wager. So
yeah, I am very tempted. I'm looking at the odds here. I'm tempted to go like make a 3-game parlay of Rangers, Leafs, and Penguins. The Rangers are playing the Ducks. Leafs are playing the Coyotes. Penguins are playing the Canadians.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm tempted to do that.
Yeah, I mean, the issue with the Leafs is Matt Murray's now injured, which makes my Samsonov fantasy pickup
way more
absolutely
valuable.
Amazing. Because like I don't know why more people didn't do that. Like, and also I don't get why we can't bet on guys getting injured, because I feel like Matt Murray getting injured in the first month of the season is just like the easiest money you could ever possibly make. But
maybe that's something we have to run up the chain to see if we can get at it.
Yeah,
will Matt Murray get hurt a second time this season?
Yeah, like obviously it's horrible, so like that's why you don't bet on it, but like, or you can't bet on it, but like it's, yeah, I guess you bet on it by saying Samsonov will be a decent fantasy pickup in like the 12th round of your draft or whatever. So
yeah,
but yeah, that would be an interesting wanted to see what would happen there. So, yeah. Anyways, into some news here. We've got the Ducks signing Rocco Grimaldi to a 1-year deal. Who, if you remember, we talked about him having a phenomenal preseason, 1 goal, 4 assists for 5 points in 4 games. However, they only signed him to an AHL deal, not to a two-way NHL deal. So he is, I guess, ineligible to be called up. I don't know what the rules are on converting this to a two-way deal or anything like that, but likely it means we're not going to see Grimaldi, which sucks.
If I remember correctly, it's like they could sign him, or really any team could sign him to an NHL deal. But I think at that point, then he would, don't quote me on this, but I think he would have to, if he signed, would have to then clear waivers.
Oh, okay.
To be able to be brought up.
Oh, okay.
So I could have that wrong. I'd have to double check that with I had to double check that, I think.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting if it happens, and it's going to be complicated. So long story short, Grimaldi will be with the Gulls, which I'm excited to see what he's going to do. And I mean, well, actually, you know what?
Yeah, Anaheim native playing in the SoCal area. That's awesome.
Yeah, which is cool. So, this is actually, I think it could be really good for a lot of the young guys that are down in the system, like Braden Tracy, Jacob Perreault, right? To have a guy who has played in the NHL, is absolutely a phenomenal player at the AHL level. Just as a kind of like almost like a mentor, but then there's not the temptation to call Grimaldi up. Like we'll actually get some looks from some of the other guys down in the system. So actually, I think it could kind of be a blessing in disguise, only signing him to a 1-year AHL deal. Now that I think about it.
And again, they can still sign him to an NHL deal if they want to have him up at some point, right?
Yeah.
But 1-year deal. For me, it was more just surprising that they signed him only for an AHL, considering that he led the team he co-led the team in assists in the preseason, which again, I know the preseason is meaningless, right? But like, I remember even seeing like on the Twitter feed, just like it kind of blowing up about like, oh, Rocco Grimaldi is like playing fantastic with pretty much everybody throughout the Ducks system and that kind of thing, right? Like I just, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out the big brain move here by Verbeek.
Yeah.
Like just an AHL deal.
Yeah. So. I mean, we have the Beaker podcast on Duck Stream, which could potentially, I mean, I think they just put out an episode, so potentially that could shed some more light on it in the coming weeks, which I said off the top when this got announced, like I'm very excited for that show, so I definitely listen to it. And if anything gets mentioned about Grimaldi, I will be sure to bring it up on here. But it's just kind of interesting. I haven't really seen a whole lot of just AHL deals. Like normally it's a 2-way deal, right? So
yeah, or if there is just AHL deals, we just don't normally hear about them too often, I guess. Like it's guys that you don't normally hear about. So, and mind you, how many people outside of Rocco or outside of Anaheim are like really hearing about Rocco Grimaldi this season, right? So this is a very like centralized thing for us, I guess. But
that's true. Yeah.
You just don't normally hear about that kind of stuff too often. So
yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Another thing happened on I guess Sunday morning here, as we're just before we're recording this. It was kind of leaked, I guess, by Elliot Friedman Saturday night. Sonny Milano signs a league min 1-year deal, so $750,000 with the Washington Capitals. And he has also been placed on waivers for the purpose of assigning him to the Hershey Bears. Milano does end up with a deal, ends up in Washington there over on the East Coast.
For about $1 million less than he was wanting initially, than his qualifying offer was, that he was not given by Anaheim, that he wasn't given obviously anywhere close to with Calgary on his PTO and that kind of thing. So,
by any other team,
any other team.
The free agent market,
like I do feel like this is one of those cases where he held out too long and kind of screwed himself over, right? Like another guy that held himself out too long, which we were fortunate enough to be able to get, is John Klingberg, right?
Yeah, but he still got paid, right?
He still got paid, but he's only getting paid for 1 season, right? Whereas he was looking for like a 7 or 8 year deal at that dollar amount. Klingberg had fired his agent, hired a new one. I don't know who his agent is now, but and then I think it was within a week, that agent then found the Anaheim deal for him. That it's like, hey, at least you're getting money, and it is
And
only
playing,
1 year, and kind of like what we were talking about before. This could go one of two ways. You get shipped off to a contender, and you have a chance to re-sign with them, or like go for a cup.
Mhm.
Or Anaheim really likes you and it's a nice place and maybe you work within their system really well and they offer you an extension for what you're looking for potentially because
Yeah.
they have like cap space.
A
So,
long-term deal on a team that could
yeah,
be a contender in a few years that you can
yeah.
be a big part of. So.
But then Sonny Milano is just kind of the lower end side of that, right? Of like, yes, even at maybe like the 1.75 that he was looking for, this is a guy that is one dimensional. As much as I love this player, he is one dimensional.
Yeah.
And for teams that especially are cap strapped with how the last few years have gone on, if you didn't realize there was a pandemic, and like economies and everything shut down, including the NHL for a while there.
Yeah.
That kind of made it hard to be like, yeah, we're going to allocate almost $2 million to a one dimensional guy when we can, in some cases, barely afford to keep like who we have, kind of thing. So, but at league minimum here for 1 year, Galaxy Brain thing again with Verbeek. I know kind of the idea was that Verbeek wants his own guys, right? Which he's definitely started to make this team some of his own guys for sure, right?
Mhm.
You got to wonder though, like if it was, even if it was kind of a money thing, right? Like league minimum for 1 year to bring him back to Anaheim potentially with guys that he plays well with as long as he's able to remain healthy. League
Mhm.
minimum for that risk is a lot less of a risk, in my eyes at least, than almost $2 million for the same thing. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how. I guess when this comes out on Monday, we'll know if he cleared or not.
Mhm.
So it might be a slight bit redundant, but
Yeah. The issue with that though is
I'm interested to see how this happens.
like we easily could have offered him this, right? And like, so I don't know why he would say no to Anaheim and yes to Washington if there wasn't something else going on, like a soured relationship of some sort between Milano and Verbeek, or not working well with the dressing room or whatever. Like, to me, by him signing this league min deal in Washington, it's saying like, I don't want to go back to Anaheim because it's not like we couldn't have offered him this, right? Like if he really wanted to go to Anaheim and the issue was the money, and then he was like, okay, well, I'm not getting the money I want. So what are other teams going to offer me? And Washington says, here's 1 year, 750,000. He could be like, okay, give me a sec. Calls Pat Verbeek and says, Washington offered me this. You give me 755. I'll come back to Anaheim or whatever.
Yeah.
So it makes me think that there's some sort of other
Might be
external thing that
yeah.
means he won't come back, at least this year. So
yeah, I could definitely see that. I also think it's just Washington was a team that was willing to take the chance on him, and that Milano held himself out for way too long, right?
yeah. Oh yeah, no, definitely. He should have signed for slightly more with any other team, like earlier on in the offseason, right? Because like he might just be stuck in Hershey now.
Yeah,
like, it could just be for a conditioning stint. Like, let's get you up to game speed since you haven't really done anything besides a few games with Calgary that didn't go very well. But it was like he might not play in the NHL this season, whereas with Anaheim he would basically be gifted that opportunity. So it seems weird to me that he would take this knowing that it's less money, less opportunity when Anaheim just has this, right? So
it is at least a two-way contract. Maybe you get up with some of the guys in Washington there who, again, like that'll still be a good team, right? And same kind of thing, right? You do what you did last year on Anaheim, but you do it with a better team in Washington elevates you a bit more, and then maybe you can go around asking for that $1 million raise.
That's true.
Again, kind of thing,
That's true.
right? And
Yeah.
show like, hey, like even with I was gonna say missing training camp, but yeah, no, he was in Calgary. Like, I was able to still do well, kind of thing, right? And I think we even saw it with how and who he played with for Calgary's preseason. He's playing with a lot of AHL guys to start with, guys that you knew were going to be there. And yeah, it wasn't going so well. And the whole idea for Calgary was like, oh, he'll be like middle six, like third, maybe even second line kind of thing. But he never overly got a chance to play with those guys. So maybe that's something he could finally do in Washington during the regular season. It gets called up, plays those middle 6 minutes, and goes, here, this is what I can do. It might be one-dimensional, but if you need scoring, I can help with that. So
yeah, that's true. So it's interesting to watch anyways. I tried to pick him up in a fantasy league of mine, but someone beat me to it. So
oh damn.
Yeah, but so it's yeah, it'll be interesting to follow, because we obviously liked Sonny Milano here. So
yeah,
see what happens with him this season and
Sonny
next season too. Yeah. This one, just kind of a interesting thing I came across on Twitter. Zellweger had a hat trick with Everett against I believe it was the Edmonton Oil Kings in the WHL. So that was nice to see from him.
Yeah, again, the WHL, we do have a general idea of it, at least, because that's in our area. Yeah, the Oil Kings were pushing for a national championship last year too. So not exactly something to be taken lightly that a defenseman was able to put up a hat trick against one of the top teams in the league. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I think he's gonna just absolutely tear up the WHL, and
that's, we talked about. Yeah, that's what we wanted to see.
Yeah, so that's all the power to you. Many more hats shall fall on Zellweger, I'm sure. I'm gonna skip ahead, save that other one for last here, and I'm going to just share this with you because I think it'll be more beneficial if everybody who is watching, can see this. So the Ducks organist, Lindsay Imber is their name. They this is something they've done that I've just never noticed before. Sorry, I guess that's probably really way too small to actually see.
Just a slight bit. Oh, I don't think it's gonna get bigger.
No, it's not. That's okay. Well, can we do it this way? Can I resize my window?
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, if you resize your window, there you go.
Perfect. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess they do flourishes for when they announce the goals and the assists in the arena. They just play some sort of song that the player has chosen, and they've done this for the last couple of years, I guess. But I've just never came across it. But this year there's some interesting ones. We don't have to talk about all of them, but I really like Trevor Zegras here choosing the Batman theme song. I think that is very Trevor Zegras to pick that. So I think that's funny.
We were talking about this off air, and I was like, I hope it's the 60s, the da-na-na-na-na-na-na Batman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I guess on the broadcast we can't overly hear it sometimes. So.
Yeah, but it's cool to see some of the personality. We know that Zegras has a personality, so that's why Batman's not surprising at all, right? But
yeah,
Kevin Shattenkirk having the Star Trek original series theme song.
We want to know the story behind this.
Is he just a big nerd or something? A big Star Trek fan? Is he going to San Diego Comic-Con dressed up as a
as Captain Spock or something?
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah. Does he know how to speak Klingon?
Or not
what's
Captain
going on
Spock,
here?
just Spock. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a massive Star Trek fan, but
no.
I at least know that. So I did correct myself before any Trekkies come at me.
Yeah, we're both more Star Wars guys than Trekkies, but yeah, it's funny. So I'll have to have a conversation with Colton White one day about Breaking Bad if I ever meet him, because I love that show.
Yeah, there's a few of these that I just want to hear the audio of them, right? Come As You Are by Nirvana for Max Comtois. I just want to hear that played on an organ. Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio for Dmitry Kulikov.
Yeah, right.
I want to hear that on an organ. Some of these are just I want to just purely to hear that on an organ. Troy Terry has the Rick and Morty theme song, which we both absolutely love that selection as well.
Yeah, that's good. So
And the biggest one for me though, Cam Fowler and Freebird by Leonard Skinner. I want to hear that.
just ripping out an organ solo, like
yeah,
that'd be awesome. So
please.
So yeah, if you're going to any games at Honda Center this year, just keep an ear out for these when certain players score or get assists. See if you can pick out when they happen. I think I just think it's a cool thing to do, and it's a lot of fun. And it shows the personality of the players too. So yeah, this is on Twitter. I can plug the Instagram handle here if anyone wants to give the organist a follow and see if they can find this. Oh no, there it is. Yeah, it's just at Lindsay Imber. So Lindsay with an A and then IMBER. So that's the handle on Twitter there. I think the Ducks retweeted it too, so you should be able to find it there. Yeah. And then last little bit of news here is that Kevin Bieksa signed a 1-day deal with the Vancouver Canucks to retire as a member of the Canucks. Why is that important for Anaheim? If you are a longtime fan, you may remember Kevin Bieksa played a few seasons, his last few seasons with Anaheim. And they're doing a celebration in Vancouver for Kevin Bieksa when the Anaheim Ducks are in town on November the 3rd. So that is very cool that they are going to do that, and they're doing it when Anaheim will be in town.
Yeah, I like that they're lining it up.
Because those are the only two teams he's played for, right? So it's very cool. And I wish that we could travel to Vancouver to catch that one, because I think that would be sweet. It doesn't sound like they're going to retire his jersey. It's more just like a, hey, thanks for everything you've done. Like
he was popular with fans. Yeah. So, and he's a fun guy as well. We talk about him on here every once in a while with him being on the Sportsnet panel. So we see him quite a bit. But yeah, I think that's very cool. And I hope that the Ducks can sneak something in there to honor him a little bit as well, even though it's a Vancouver thing. Just like just something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure
bring Getzlaf to Vancouver as well and have them do something cool. Yeah, I don't know, but
I'm sure we'll see something like similar to this, because again, only two teams that they played for with Ryan Kessler at some point coming out. So I was kind of laughing with bringing up the stats for the watch along, and it shows like the injured players, and it still had Ryan Kessler there. I was like, oh yeah, right.
yeah, it's funny that they
how much longer is he on that? So actually, I think this might be the last year technically of that. We might even see that next year. Some between these two teams again. So
yeah. Let's take a look here. Where is it? No, his contract's done now, but I don't know how long the buyout is. Is the buyout still on our books for that?
The buyout does not look
or not, or because we bought out Kessler, right? Or no, he was on IR.
He was on IR, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so it's off. No, so it's
there.
Yeah, he's done then. Because last year was the last year of that.
Yep, and this is the last year. Oh, it's the last year of Corey Perry's buyout too.
Ooh,
okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. But
yeah.
So those are the few pieces of news we got there, and we will take another very short break, and then on the other side we'll talk about the couple upcoming games and a interesting tweet that Nate has come across that I think I know what it is, and it's funny. So stay tuned for that, and we'll be back in just a minute here.
Hey hockey fans, I'm Breezy.
And I'm Ray Ray. We host the House of Hockey podcast on the Hockey Podcast Network.
We're lifelong hockey fans who talk about the game and the lifestyle. Our guests include professional hockey players.
My rookie party had to wear Speedo, and then we had a checklist of stuff we had to do.
Here we go, Gaber. What do you got to say? And it's kind of like, you know better than that now, boys.
I got dressed for the Bruins. I get a phone call, and he's like, dude, we need you over here by the elevator. You got to get downstairs. You got to get dressed right now.
Started playing the like, dun, 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 and I turned it around, and it had the Olympic rings and said, we did it.
NHL team hockey reporters.
I actually took the Stanley Cup to this ice bar where they've got now girls around them, and I've got a fur coat on.
I wonder who he shoot checked over here. And then I looked down at my feet.
Hockey fans.
The entire bar was lined with guys in Kings jerseys. We quickly realized, oh my gosh, this is the dad's trip.
And we bring unique hockey stories to light.
Coming back to England, 24 rings in the entire country. That's where the problem starts with the sport of ice hockey here.
Canadian Blind Hockey Association, those few kids we interviewed, their whole week is built around Sunday at the rink. They're just hockey players.
We don't agree on everything.
Pineapple goes on pizza.
No, it does not.
I think it does.
But we do agree that there are many people and places that build the House of Hockey.
New episodes every Tuesday. Come on in to the House of Hockey podcast on the Hockey Podcast Network.
I just want to stress one more time that yes, pineapple does belong on pizza. And
Absolutely.
if you don't think so, fight me.
Again. Okay, couple upcoming games. So if you guys are listening to this on Monday, as you should be, then there will be an upcoming game against the Rangers this evening at 4 p.m. Pacific time. If you're listening to this on Tuesday, then you can skip ahead about 3-4 minutes because you'll already know the outcome of this game unless you want to hear how wrong we were or how right we were about things that happened. So yeah, the New York Rangers. This is going to be interesting, to say the least.
Do I hope it's going to be better than the game against the Islanders? Yes. Am I not knocking on the Ducks, expecting a whole lot out of this game? No, not so much. This is my pick. If I had to put one today, this is my pick to come out of the East this year. Is the New York Rangers. Like,
they're up there for sure.
And again, yes, I have a bit of a soft spot for them, but like, you can't not look at this team and go, yeah, they wouldn't be able to do much kind of thing, right? Like, you got like a top line alone of Mika Zibanejad, Chris Kreider, and Capo Caco. That's a little terrifying.
Yeah.
And then you go to the second line of Trocheck, Lafreniere, and Panarin. Panarin is the second line left wing. What the fuck?
It's disgusting, man.
Yeah, and a decent like shutdown third line there of Cheadle, Goudreau, and VC here coming from Daily Faceoff.
Yeah, and then like they're just deep at all positions too, right? Because like their defense, Adam Fox and Lindgren on the top pair, Trouba and K-Andre Miller as their second pair. Like that could be a first pair on a lot of other teams in the NHL, right?
Jacob Trouba, the captain of the New York Rangers, is the second pairing defenseman.
Yeah, right. So like, and then I mean, goaltending is of course stellar with when you have Igor Shesterkin.
Yeah.
So
and Yaroslav Halak, who is still playing, still doing well, I would say.
Solid backup for Shesterkin, who easily takes 60 games a year. 50, 60 games a year, like Halak has no problems with the other 20 to 30, right? So
yeah,
it's scary. They're a good team. And they have Vitaly Kravtsov and Sammy Blais day to day too. So those guys aren't even in the lineup. So like you put those into that the top six and it's even more scary. So it's that's why the 7-1 loss to the Highlanders makes me scared about what's going to happen in this one. Because like, we show up for games against good teams, but like, man, it doesn't matter how early you wake up and like how much pre-workout you take or whatever. Like, there's no stopping the Rangers. There just isn't. Not without a miracle or it's tough. So I mean, we could just sit here and praise the Rangers all day long, but I think let's just predict some scores and move on to the next game here. What do you think, Nate?
I'm going to predict the score, and then I want to play a quick little thing of trivia with you.
Okay.
Just because it's a fun little history tidbit to me. Sure. Okay. Score-wise, I'm going to be nicer to the Ducks. I'm going to say 5-2 for the Rangers.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that's reasonable to predict. I am going to
I could see a fifth goal being like an empty net. So
yeah, something like that. It's definitely not going to be awful. I'm going to say I'm going to say like 6-3. I'm going to say 6-3 for the Rangers.
All right.
So like, but again, like with an empty net or two as well. I think that our top line, Terry, Strome, McTavish, like those guys were pretty snake bitten and quite unlucky against the Islanders. So I think if they keep up the same work, like they should get, the puck to swing in their favor a little bit in this one, and we might capitalize on some nice goals, like transitionally maybe. But the Rangers are going to make us pay.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
okay, quick little trivia thing for you here.
Okay.
Without looking it up, you don't have to tell me what overall pick or anything like that. What round was Yaroslav Halak selected in the 2003 entry draft?
I want to say he was a later pick, because did they do 7 rounds back then? Or did they only do 6?
Technically, they did do 7 rounds, yes.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to say, I don't think he was last round, but I think he was quite a bit later. I want to say he was 5th round.
5th round?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to double check something myself here really quickly.
Okay.
I'm
going to say he was late 5th round too. Just
late 5th round? Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. You definitely put him quite a bit higher than he was selected.
Okay.
He was selected in the where'd my tab go? Here we go. He was selected 10th overall in the 9th round. 2003, the NHL draft had 9 rounds. Now it has 7 rounds for up to 224 players. In 2003, 292 players were selected in the entry draft. So, and Yaroslav Halak went to Montreal, 271. There was one team, I forget the story, but was looking between him and somebody. I think it was Minnesota. Was looking between him and somebody else, quite a few rounds earlier.
Yeah,
and they were still. I forget even where I heard this story about it. I think it was a 32 Thoughts episode. And they were arguing still at the table, about to make a selection for a goalie of, are they going to take Halak or this other guy?
Yeah.
And it boiled down to, okay, who's taller? The other goalie, I think, was taller by an inch or 2, and they went with that guy. I don't think that guy saw it in NHL ice at all.
Yeah.
And Halak's gone on to have the career that he has with 557 games played.
Yeah. with some pretty significant ones in there as well.
Yeah.
Because he was a staple on the Bruins back end for quite a few years.
Yeah.
There.
This is a guy that had things gone his way in Montreal, Carey Price wouldn't have the legacy in Montreal that he does.
Yeah, that's true.
There was the debate at that. When was that? 2000, was that 2007 or 2009 playoffs? I think of okay, who do you keep actually? As because it was coming up, I think, on contract year for one of them. Was do you keep Halak or do you move on from the young Price, or do you keep the younger guy kind of thing? So
yeah,
history could have been way more different depending on a flip of that situation. So
yeah, he I'm assuming that the goalie that they picked instead was Miroslav Kopriva, because he's the only goaltender that the Wild took in 2003.
I believe it was round Minnesota. So
yeah, and that was round 6. So
any NHL games played? I don't think.
No.
Yeah,
close. He he played in the EIHL, Elite Ice Hockey League. So played for a long time there, but he was 6'2".
Yeah, and Halak is 5'11".
Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean, most goalies I guess would be taller than him, but that's interesting if that is the case there. But okay, the other upcoming game we have is Tuesday against the New Jersey Devils, which will be another 4 p.m. Pacific start. These, which is awful because it's 7 o'clock on the East Coast, right? But for fans of the team that's on the West Coast, it's okay, I'm gonna miss the beginning of it because I'm working /
still at work.
Home from work, right?
Yeah.
So,
but that's not as bad. At least you're still able to watch the game and then enjoy your evening, compared to the East Coast that thinks everything is revolved around them. And the Rangers or the Islanders or the Devils play over on our coast. It's 7 o'clock for us, but it's 10 o'clock for them. And
Mhm.
they're like, oh, why do they have to start the game so late? Because we're not fucking starting at 3 o'clock. Shut up.
Yeah, right. Like,
Stay awake.
yeah. So yeah, New Jersey on Tuesday, 4 p.m. Pacific time, because this is a back-to-back. We'll probably see Stellaris in net. I'm assuming you give. Well, actually, given how Saturday went, do you give Stellaris the start against the Rangers?
Oh,
God. Because I mean, neither goalie had like phenomenal outings, right?
Just because this is the start of the season, I think you go Gibson night one.
You go back to Gibson.
Yeah, I think so. Just because it's the start of it. So, but once, Eakins does the inevitable of like running Gibson into the ground, if this is like midway through the season, yeah, you're starting Stellaris against the Rangers instead.
Yeah, fair enough. We talked about the Devils having a pretty decent offseason and improving quite a bit. They added Andre Palat to their top 6 because Tampa Bay was unable to sign him there. They obviously have Hische and Hughes, who are doing quite well there. Who else did they add? I feel like they added... they added Bernier, but he's out injured, of course. Vanacek and Blackwood are their back end. I thought they added somebody else. Am I missing someone? Maybe not. But I mean, either way, they're top 6. Oh, Thomas Tatar. Duh, looking right into my face there. They added him as well. So kind of buffing up their top 6 a little bit. Bottom 6 isn't.
Bottom 6 could be rounded out, but it's not horrible.
Yeah. Their defense is fine. Siegenthaler with Hamilton, Ryan Graves. Is he a new addition? Or, no, he was there last year. Right?
No, I think he was there last year. The big thing for me is Dougie Hamilton. If he can step forward again back to the defenseman that he was in Carolina, New Jersey's gonna that $9 million for him is gonna be nothing whatsoever.
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest problem with New Jersey though is their head coach, Lindy Ruff. There's a lot coming out about him and how fans do not like him. They had the "Fire Lindy" chant going.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to bring that up because even when they were introducing him, I came across this clip when they were introducing him on the home opener. Introduced him, and the fans just started booing. So, and like Ruff did comment on it.
Really? What did he say?
This is coming from Mike Morrell. He's a staff writer on NHL.com. Lindy Ruff on hearing the chants from the fans. We got passionate fans here and they're used to winning. I mean, that's part of my job. I take full responsibility for when this team loses. Great history here. The fans want W's up on the board, as simple as that. It's like he understands why they're booing him, and he's not taking it personally. He's like, I know I have a job to do. I know it's not going great, and like I know what they expect. Like basically just like I'm going to do what I can to get them here, but I feel like he also understands that maybe he's not the guy to do it at the same time, has that kind of awareness.
Yeah.
Which might be great for Dallas. Lindy Ruff and Dallas Eakins maybe need to sit down and have a chat.
Yeah. I mean, not that I'm like the biggest fan of the Devils, but like I like some of the players on there. So, and I want to see them do well. So I think, they're 0-2 already to start the season. I think if they end up 0-5, 0-6, that's because Lindy Ruff's been there for a few years, right? Like I think that kind of says, okay, this isn't the start we wanted. We made some big changes and we should be doing better. Like there's no reason to be 0-6. So like we got to turn the ship around now. Sorry, like we got to move on. So I think there's a very short leash, especially when fans are calling for it too. Like you want to show the fans that you are committed to this season too, especially early on. So yeah, and I mean, it's possible the Ducks could be a team too, like where if we beat them quite horribly, they're like, there's no way we can lose to a team like the Ducks. Like we gotta, you're out. Like the Ducks could be the team to cause Lindy Ruff to be fired. So
sorry, I'm reading through some of the tweets from Devil's Twitter. Holy shit. Yeah, they are not a fan of this guy. This is from @DevRickus on Twitter. Trusting Lindy Ruff is like eating Taco Bell and White Castle, then spreading your butt cheeks and farting and being surprised you shit your khakis.
Oh man, that is a. If you're Lindy Ruff, that is a rough comparison.
Yeah. Thank you for playing that.
I know.
Here's okay. So these next two are from Matt_NJD. This first one's a bit of a nicer one, and then the next one's more the funny. I still can't believe in this team, or I still believe in this team, but I do not believe in Lindy Ruff. The Devils are a bubble team when Hughes plays with either Brad or Holtz, but definitely not Holtz and Shango with McLeod. Now, this is the part that kind of goes, oh, okay. This is why I wanted Torts. He demand what the fans demand, a solid team, which I get that. Torts in Philadelphia, though, is going to be fucking hilarious.
Oh, it's so funny already.
The first couple of days of camp and like the dude spread eagle on the ice already like dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's what's going to make the Philadelphia Flyers enjoyable for me to watch from an outside perspective is John Tortorella just kicking the ass of his own team, basically.
Yeah.
That is going to suck. This other one here from Matt and JD is a retweet of Lindy Ruff will figure it out. Matt continues it. He wrote as he tucked himself into bed with custom NJ Devils 2018 playoff berth sheets. One day they'll see you for who you really are. A really great guy, he thought. Kissing his Lindy Ruff iPhone lock screen, he whispers, as he does each night, "Good night, sweet angel."
That's bonkers. Like, people are so weird sometimes, man. But that's really funny.
Some people like that are just like, those are the people that you want to follow on Twitter because they're just like hilarious, but it's also in line with like what the majority of fans think.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm reading through some of these tweets. I'm just like, yeah, okay, fuck. This one I just have to show you, I think.
Okay.
And then we'll move on to what's quacking here. But holy shit. This one comes from at Hughes Actual. Lindy Ruff in charge of our team for the 22-23 season. If you're just listening to us, it is a card that is straight up like crunched in on itself, like from the sides, from the front and the back, like folded in on itself.
It looks like a hard shell taco.
Yeah, with a caption on it, "Get that thing off the road, bro." Holy shit, that one's good.
Yeah, that is.
Oh, but yeah, so needless to say, the Devils fans don't really like Lindy Ruff. They like what they see, at least on paper, of their team so far. Yeah, I think this Devils team can turn it around though in the next couple of years and be one of those teams that we're constantly talking about in the playoff picture. So
yeah.
In the meantime, it might just be Lindy Ruff is one of the things that is holding it back. We'll have to see. So that might be something we have to talk to Neil about.
Yeah, for sure. We can capitalize off of the lack of cohesiveness of the New Jersey Devils with Lindy Ruff in charge. Hopefully we can get a win out of that one. I guess. Score prediction. We gotta keep on top of these. This one.
I'm gonna give a win here to the Ducks. We're gonna go back to 500. I'm gonna say 3-2. Favor the Ducks.
3-2 for the Ducks. All right. I think. Sorry, I got to take a look actually at if the Devils play at all. On Monday. Yeah. They do not. So this will be their third game of the season. Okay. So, couple nights off, but they haven't absolutely been shit kicked by anybody in a few days. So maybe they're feeling good about themselves. So I'm going to say 4-1 Anaheim.
All right. I like that.
So, the Devils put up a bit of a fight, but the Ducks, they capitalize. They're embarrassed from the game they put up against the New York Rangers the night before. And they're just like, you know what? No, I'm not going to make that comparison. I'll save that one to tell you off air. But
yeah, I think I know where you're going. And
they're just going to take all of their frustration out on the New Jersey Devils the next night there. And Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. Or they beat the New York Rangers, surprisingly, and then they're feeling good about themselves, then riding that high right into the New Jersey.
Yeah.
And
I'd be A-okay with that. I'd be A-okay with that. When I predict
absolutely.
that the Ducks are going to lose, I am more than happy to be proven wrong.
Oh,
so
absolutely. Me too.
All I know is that Ducks and Devils Twitter should just combine on Tuesday night and just, be friendly with each other over your shared interest of not liking your coach.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
We got a very brief what's quacking here, and then we will wrap up the episode.
All right. So, Carter, I want you to do some quick math with me. All right.
Okay. Gotcha.
There are how many goalies typically per NHL team?
Typically 2.
Yeah.
3-ish, but like 2.
Yeah. We'll go with 2. Okay. And there's how many teams in the NHL?
32.
Okay. So 32 times 2 is what?
64.
Okay. And how many goalies do you think there are playing hockey worldwide that are, we'll go 18 plus. How many goalies?
How many goalies worldwide? 18 plus.
Just
professionally, or just like you're included in this metric?
I'm included in this metric. From beer league to you're playing the AHL.
Well, I think 64, you're in like the top 0.01%. So I need to break out a calculator for this one because I don't want to give you like
specific numbers here.
No, we're getting so 64 divided by 0.01. That's only 64,000 or 6,400. That seems very wrong. So you know what? We're gonna add another zero onto that. There is 2 zeros. There is 640,000 goalies. Just
640,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
18 plus playing beer league, whatever.
Okay, now Facebook is definitely not representative of the world population, but I am going to pull up how many people are part of the Goalie Gear Sluts United Facebook page, which is 380.1. No, sorry, 38.1 thousand members.
Oh, okay.
And that's one of the bigger Facebook pages. That you even have to fill out like a thing to get into it.
So that would using my number, that would be like 5% of the goalie population would be.
Yeah. So you're right. Yeah. So probably a pretty big number here.
Yeah.
So now imagine being an NHL goaltender. This comes from at Ben_Matthewson. Imagine being an NHL goaltender. After years of hard work and sacrifice, you have reached the top 0.0001% of your field.
Oh, well, we could have used that number, I guess, for my 64.
I just wanted to just get your idea, though.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, just on some random Tuesday in February, a guy like Ilya Lyubushkin scores a shot that deflects off of 3 of your teammates. And then 19,000 fans just start singing, "I'm a gummy bear" at you. You have reached the pinnacle of your position just to have the gummy bear song screamed at you by almost 20,000 people.
Mm-hmm. Is that like someone's goal song?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I feel like that. I wouldn't be surprised by that. But I saw that tweet and I just laughed at it. Just like, doesn't matter what level you get to in any sport where there's goaltenders kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, you could be the top of your game. You could be Andrei Vasilevsky. And if you let in a goal in Nashville, they're going to let you fucking know about it.
Yeah.
There is no escaping it whatsoever. It doesn't matter if you're playing beer league. Doesn't matter if you're playing in the NHL in the Stanley Cup final. If you let in a goal, and it might not even be a goal that's your fault, you're going to fucking hear about it.
Yeah. The team in front of you is still going to suck. It's going to be a fucking muffin from some like 9th defenseman flyer who spends most of his time in the AHL or in the press box. But it's still going to happen. Yeah, that is and I feel like that's how John Gibson feels on most nights, you know?
Yeah, I do feel for that man sometimes.
Yeah.
There is sometimes where I don't say that he deserves it, but like that is kind of on you, right? Especially when you're carrying like what was it last year? Like a negative 14 goal save above expected kind of thing. It's like, You should have had a few of those, Johnny, but
Yeah, but 9 times out of 10, yes, Kevin Shattenkirk should move his juicy ass out of the fucking way so that you can see the puck.
And again, I'm saying, John, you should have had those when I have played like university intramurals as my highest thing of ice hockey. So
yeah.
Professional sports is a fantastic thing where the guy sitting on his couch can be in his underwear can be like, you suck. And everyone just goes, yep, that's right. You go, guy in the underwear.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing. You get two nut jobs like us talking about it and like making money off of it, having zero experience whatsoever. The world is a wonderful place.
Yeah, it is. It is. Okay, well, I think that wraps up this episode of the Quack Report. Nate, if people want to text their organ theme songs to you, where can they do that at?
You can shoot those to me on Twitter at Tatenhomas, TATENHOMAS.
Absolutely. And I would love to hear that as well at Carter_Pods, POTTS_97 on Twitter. At Quack Report Pod is where you can follow the show for updates during the game and all that stuff. We'll see you guys Wednesday night. Have a good one. Go Ducks, go.